favorite tradition is the days when it's deer hunting.
Well, my favorite family tradition has to be on Christmas Eve.
Kool-Aid and paper plates, and it was just a really fun time. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer, and today we are going to talk about traditions. But before we get started with everything that I just cannot wait to share with you, I just wanted to let you guys all know that this is a collaboration with Heather from A Catholic Mom's Life. Of course, I'll have a link over to her channel, A Catholic Mom's Life, in the description box below. Heather really focuses on all things Catholic. If you have ever wondered about anything relating to the Catholic faith, what we believe about saints, to how to pray the rosary, to living out your Catholic vocation as a mother, she just has so much good information on there. I always come away from her channel just feeling uplifted and like I want to smile, because she just does not stop smiling through the whole video, and I absolutely love that. So all around, her channel has just great content. And you know, one thing that I'm super excited about is that she just shared a cooking video the other day, and you guys all know how much I like to be in the kitchen. That was really a fun video for me. I really enjoyed that. So like I said, this is a collaboration with Heather. I will put all of her information in the description box below. Let's get on with this. So back to traditions. For some of you, you might just be thinking, oh, traditions. I don't even know where to go with that. It can be kind of scary to think about starting a tradition, because we have this feeling like traditions have to stand the test of time. Like if we do something when our children are 1 and 2 years old, we have to still be doing those traditions when they're teenagers or adults. But you know what? So you don't have to feel like just because you start a tradition that it has to just keep going forever and ever. That was really freeing for me when I kind of first came to that realization that we did not have to keep on doing the same old, especially if it wasn't working or if our kids had kind of outgrown that particular tradition. I'm coming at this from the viewpoint, I have little kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I also have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old. We have experienced our gamut of traditions, that is for sure. And now that I can look back over all of these years, you know, 21 years of family traditions, you know, with my own immediate family, I see just the huge value in it. There's just nothing more satisfying for this mom anyways than to be in the kitchen cooking up some things for Thanksgiving, or maybe making somebody's favorite birthday cake or birthday pie, and all of a sudden the older kids start gathering around the kitchen and they start talking about remember the year when Dad thought it'd be a great idea to make the piñata out of chicken wire instead of just paper mache, and we could never break into it. Sometimes when we're in the daily grind, having to make a tradition happen sometimes can just kind of be overwhelming. But what I really want to get across to you guys is that traditions are just so important. I see it in my kids, and especially in my adult kids, when they are reminiscing about all of the days of yesteryear and all the things that we used to do. So if you are a young mom and you're thinking, oh, I really need to kind of start establishing some traditions with my children, a couple things just to keep in mind. Traditions do not have to go on forever. If something's not working, you know, it's totally okay to stop. It's totally okay if something runs its course and you go, hey, that was a great tradition, and we kept that going for 6 years, but now everyone is in a different phase of life. We have different interests, we have different age kids, whatever it might be. So that sometimes those traditions change. So for example, in our own family, we used to do something called Tuesday movie night. And Tuesday movie night stemmed out of necessity. I really liked, in the past we used to do every Tuesday night, it would be like our family movie night. And Sam and Emily would have violin, and when Mom would take them to violin, then she would bring home pizza and usually a movie, either from like Family Video or the library. I really liked, because we'd always like throw out the blanket and everything, and then we'd sit down and always have the Kool-Aid and paper plates, and we'd always eat pizza on the floor.
I try really, really hard to not overthink traditions and just sort of let them kind of fall into place. And all of a sudden it's kind of like, hey, we did that last year, we did it again this year. It's kind of a tradition. And then we kind of start working at making it kind of special. If it's too forced, sometimes people end up coming to the table begrudgingly, and that's never a good thing.
Another word of caution, especially for sentimental moms, and sometimes I fall into that category, is that sometimes we don't want a tradition to end and it just sort of naturally ends. For example, way back, I think when Emily was 8 or 9 years old, she started playing Away in the Manger and Silent Night on Christmas morning for the church gospel reading and children's pageant time. So our church started to do something different, which made it so Emily was not going to be playing those songs anymore. And that was really, really hard for me because I so look forward to Christmas morning, knowing that we were going to go, the kids were going to carry in the sheep, a couple of them were going to walk with the staff, and Emily was going to be playing, and all the other little kids would be there as angels and everything, right? So then what happened is we ended up switching to go to Christmas Eve Mass, and we kind of started our own new traditions with that, which was really great, and it actually happens to be Sam's favorite tradition.
When we come back from church, we always have a giant meal, and there's a ton of cookies and different like food. And one of my favorite pieces is my mom makes these pieces that it's like a toothpick with pickle and sausage and cheese, and that's just delicious. And I always love coming back, and that's like the best part of Christmas.
So a few of my absolute favorite family traditions. Maybe you'll hear something that will inspire you to bring back an old tradition or to put a little bit of effort into forming some new family traditions. Our older kids were all very, very small. I decided that I wanted to make an Easter piñata with them. And so we just get a great big balloon, blow it up. It is never really all that pretty. We have had years where it has just been duct tape on the outside as kind of the coloring, years where it's been spray painted blaze orange. We've had years where nothing's happened to it and it's just newspaper or paper bags. So whatever it ends up looking like on Holy Saturday is what we go with, and we fill it up with Laffy Taffies and all the soft chewy candies, and they just beat it to heck, and everybody has a great time. A super simple tradition is one where Warren has like a little foam football, and they'll lay on the living room floor and they'll just throw it up, and they'll keep seeing just how close to the ceiling they can get it without it touching. And it's just one of those simple pleasures. The kids love to do it. I love to watch them. I love to watch Dad engaging with the kids. And it's not a tradition that, you know, happens like on the first of every month or, you know, once a year or anything like that, but it's just sort of a traditional game that Dad plays with the kids. I absolutely love on birthdays when we measure the kids on the wall. It's like the door jamb, the trim, and I absolutely love that. We can look back and say, oh, who was taller? Sam was taller than Nick when he was 4, or, you know, oh, Emily, you know, she was the shortest one at age 4, or whatever. And especially now that we have so many of those on there, the younger kids love. It's almost like they're trying to aim for a certain height. During the winter months, when Warren is not super pressed to get outside at the crack of dawn for work, and he has a little bit more leisure time in the morning, I really look forward to sitting out in the schoolroom with him with a cup of coffee and watching the birds, and just kind of catch up on what he's going to be doing for the day, what I'm going to be doing for the day. We just kind of, it's just a really great time to connect. We don't get to do that in the summer. It's light so early, so it just feels like you got to get up and get moving and get work done. But in the winter, when it's just darker and we can kind of get up and, you know, and just kind of slowly start our day as the sun rises, it's just absolutely one of my favorite parts of the year when we get to do that. Christmas has all kinds of traditions that go along with it, doesn't it? I mean, I think it's probably like that in so many families. And a couple of my favorite Christmas traditions for us, we always get a wild tree. We have never, ever in almost 22 years of marriage had a purchased Christmas tree, real or fake. We've always just got one wild off the land. Some years they're very sparse, very thin, not much to them. Some years they're like overgrown and branches going every which direction. Anyways, it's just one of my favorite things. I love how different it is every single year. Our trees never look the same. Everybody just decorates it. So it's always just a total hodgepodge tree of everybody's favorite ornaments, or as many as we can possibly fit on for the year. And then we call it good. That is Merry Christmas in our house. So what we've always done with presents is that once we get the Christmas tree up, then we start bringing out presents. But we do not put anybody's names on the presents. Our kids all get 3 presents, and all 3 of their presents is wrapped in the same wrapping paper. So All three of Emily's presents are in the same wrapping paper, and then we have a separate wrapping paper that's just for Nick, and a separate wrapping paper that's just for Amber, and so on down the line. But they have no idea whose wrapping paper is whose. While we're wrapping, we just cut a little tiny square, write their name on it, hide it in an undisclosed location. Then we take all those presents out there, and so sometimes there will be like 3 already really quick for one person and only 1 for another, and they all try to guess whose wrapping paper is for who, and it's just it is just an absolute blast as we're building up to Christmas to do that. And then on Christmas Eve, usually while I'm like cooking during the earlier part of the day, Warren and I will get those little slips of paper that we have their name written on, we'll hide them. They all start searching for their wrapping paper, and they'll of course find other people's, but eventually everybody has their wrapping paper, and that's when they finally know which 3 presents are theirs. And it is just so fun. It's my favorite part of Christmas, is watching them search out their wrapping paper and saying, I knew those were mine, I knew the one in the mitten wrapping paper was mine, and I knew those with the trees were yours, or I thought that this was mine, or oh my gosh, that person has the biggest present, what could it possibly be? On Christmas morning, I always make like a cherry and a blueberry and something else, like kind of looks like a wreath, a Danish. Sometimes we make it into a candy cane. Anyways, I will put a link in the description box below for the recipe that I use, because that's over at another Catholic mom's blog, Shower of Roses, so maybe you've seen it. Anyways, I'll put a link in the description box to that, because that has been a tradition for so many years. We always read the nativity story from the Gospel of Luke. Now this might even be more of a favorite than the wrapping paper, I'm not sure. But getting ready for deer hunting, which is just going to happen in not even 2 short weeks, like a week and a half, we're going to be doing that. And getting ready for deer season is like getting ready for Christmas in our house. There is so much excitement and just electricity going through everybody getting ready, but the best part of getting ready is getting ready for the snacks. So tradition in our house for hunting is that you sit all day long on opening day, and so you need a lot of food. You need a good size lunch is what we call it, and the lunch is filled with all kinds of snacks, and usually we make sandwiches, and Warren oftentimes will make unleavened bread, and I'll have some sort of cookies or something, some homemade goodies after our relatives have gotten here, and everyone is just like on fire. There's so much excitement, and we put all this stuff out on the table, and then everybody just starts grabbing at what they want, and they take a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and they just put in all kinds of things, Tootsie Rolls and candy bars, and everyone's slapping together ham on a sandwich, and Warren's divvying up and wrapping up the unleavened bread, and we're making sure everybody has a juice pouch and a Gatorade and a water bottle. So that's just another super fun time. So traditions do not have to be a huge deal. They're just little things, but they're done with great joy. And that, I really think, is what makes a tradition, is just being able to do it with a big smile on your face, putting your whole heart into it, and just being super excited for everyone that gets to experience that tradition. Traditions help us to feel like things are predictable. Traditions help us to feel like we have a place and we belong in a family. Like, hey, you know what? That is my family, and that is how we do things. And I just think that especially as you have kids that are entering into those teenage years, holy cow, things can get a little bit rocky. And I just think that if they have a good base and have some good traditional memories to kind of anchor themselves with, it's just a good thing. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun sharing our family traditions with you guys, and be sure to check out Heather's channel. She is going to have her own take on traditions. I am super excited to go and watch that, and I hope that you guys head on over there too. Remember, if you're new here and you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that, and I will see you guys all next time with a brand new video.
A chocolate chip cookie in the oven in circles.